Hi, I'm Mikko Heiskala. In this video I'm going to talk about digitalization, disruption and business transformation from the viewpoint on why we are actually talking about that. Why are we talking about it now? Well, and this is the key here. All of our capabilities related to what we can manufacture in computing power, storage capacity, and different kind of network speeds for different kind of networks, they've been going up. And at the same time, the cost of making them, the price of buying them is going down, and as is their size. So capability, affordability, availability of digital technology is going upwards and has been going upwards in an exponential rate. You might have heard about the Moore's law, which describes the exponential growth of computing power, but you might have not heard about the Crider's law, which relates to memory and storage capacity, or Nielsen's law that relates to network connection speeds. All these scales in these graphs here are logarithmic. So growth is exponential, not linear. So exponential is the hockey stick growth, and that is something you need to keep in mind when looking at the growth rate of these technologies. Affordability is also rising and growing exponentially. So this graph shows the cost of an iPad 2 equivalent of performance related to power, computing power. So that's decreasing rapidly at an exponential rate as well. So this is also a logarithmic scale. And size of digital technology is going down as well. So this is just to show you an example of how storage capacity and how much storage capacity we can fit on a certain device is going down. So just one micro SD card can store more data than those rest of the floppy disk and different kind of disks combined. And that describes 20 years of storage capacity technology development there. Okay, things are growing fast, but what could be the potential bottlenecks for development of these capabilities? Well, bandwidth could be one. That was the one that's growing at the slower rate than computing power and storage capacity. Amazon, okay, they have a lot of cloud computing services that they offer all over the world globally, but they also offer a service to digitally transfer data into their cloud computing services. So actually taking this device to the location of the customer, transferring the data there by cable, and then transporting it physically to their services just to transfer it faster and more safely. And the other example here from the BBC News, it's already an old one from 2010, I think. In rural UK, they had a race between a carrier pigeon and broadband network transfer. So they tied a small USB stick to the leg of a carrier pigeon and then had a race. Would that data be transferred via broadband faster than the carrier pigeon actually made it to the other end? And the pigeon won. So that's just an example. If storage capacity is growing faster than network speeds that we have, so for at least some of the use cases we have, bandwidth might be a bottleneck. Energy then could be another one. You could think about the whole energy consumption of the ICT industry, or then these autonomous devices, big and small, that we are embedding into our physical surroundings. Where are those devices getting this energy from? If there's going to be a lot more of them in different kind of places. So digitalization is expanding it's becoming more ubiquitous. We have pervasive connectivity, and we have a lot of information available for us for different kind of use cases. One key thing why digital technology is and why digitalization is changing business so much is because it's so flexible, and especially because software is such a flexible technology. So compared to analog technology, which is fixed and tightly coupled between the storage formats, processing technology, and distribution, digital is much more flexible. But let's look at the music here. So we have music. Somebody creates, a creator, artist, composer creates music. We have physical storage formats in the analog days for them. Here's an LP record. You have the LP player that can actually then transform that technology into sound that we can hear. And the distribution technology that we have available, we need to physically transfer those LP records to a store where we can then go and buy them. And of course, hipsters do that all the time nowadays. But still, this is tied much more fixedly to the storage formats, the processing technology, and distribution than digital one is. Looking at digital music, okay, there's again the creator, the content creator, the composer. But now we can storage that music in different formats. It can be file format like MP3s, then use that on different kind of digital storage formats. It doesn't need to be a CD, it can be any USB stick, any kind of hard drive. It doesn't matter, it's just zeros and ones that we can store on any digital memory device. And we can also process that music, the files, on different devices and different kind of devices. It doesn't matter which one that is. Is it a computer, is it your smartphone, or is it then a dedicated CD player device? And we can then distribute it in many ways as well, over the air, on the net as well. These are not tied into each other. So digital technology is much more flexible and loosely coupled between the storage, processing, and distribution technologies. Okay, software. That's one key digitalization technology. And the history of software development technology has been about rising levels of abstractions and inventing new ways to reuse once written source code. And this has led to these kind of recursive ways to reuse software and how we can combine them like the Lego blocks. And this brings us combinatorial explosion of innovation possibilities. So we have once done software, we can combine it with another piece in different ways. We don't need to create the pieces again, just combining them in different ways. And this innovation comes really much more useful when we open those possibilities for outsiders, for people outside our firm. And this is done, for example, with open source software, with application programming interfaces open for other people. Okay, let's think about a hypothetical example. This is a hypothetical example, to be clear. So, what if Facebook offered an API interface to a functionality for identifying a person from a digital photo entered as an input to this kind of a method call? So identify person from this photo of a person's face. This is a piece of software, just a line in software code that could be used by any outsider, company, person, other than Facebook and their own developers. Let's think a little bit what would need to run on the background, what kind of code and how much of it would execute. Facebook probably has one of the biggest database of humans' faces, digital photos of humans' faces in the world. They also have training data by humans to actually identify people from those faces. And they have the algorithms to recognize okay, a new photo, this is probably this person again. I'm sure there's a lot of that. It takes a lot of computing capability in the cloud computing services, etc. But if they would want to open that kind of a functionality for outsiders, it would be just that one single line of code with that one single photo as input. Okay, this is a big example of a lot of software running from the outsider's code, but this combination of the different capabilities happening all the time in software development and in developing new digital services. And that's how software and its capabilities to be combined and its flexibility, they really are feeding into the innovation and business change from digitalization. Okay, I'm talking a lot about digitalization and how it's going to change the world, but a reminder, and as a reminder of the global picture, this is from Booz & Company analysis, where they are looking at this kind of a digital maturity and capabilities of different countries in the world. And this is about infrastructure, how affordable different technologies are, how much you need to pay for data transfer and such things. And of course, it's not an even picture. All the countries are not there at the same level. Just keep this in mind as well when you talk about the changes digitalization is bringing and what it still can for a lot of countries as well. And with that, thanks for watching. I'm Mikko Heiskala.